Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, Secretary Cardona. It's so great to have you here. I've been honored to have your leadership on many initiatives I work on, including the Jobs Act and expanding Pell Grants, WIOA, and of course, America's College Promise Act. And I was so delighted to welcome you to both Oakland and Macomb community colleges in Michigan last year. You know, we've had deep and meaningful conversations about how to protect and strengthen our public education system from pre-K to post-secondary. And I want to take a moment to focus on one aspect of that all here right now, and that is the student debt crisis in this country. You know about it so well. I can't commend you enough for the $17 billion in forgiveness that your department and the president have provided for students defrauded by institutions, and for your strong start in fixing the broken public loan forgiveness program. So that's all great, and yet we must do more. Millions of Americans have been prevented from fully participating in our economy by buying a house or changing careers or starting a business or even starting a family because they're saddled with this student loan debt. And the student debt crisis is a racial, gender, and economic justice issue that impacts people of color and women disproportionately. Black borrowers on average owe $25,000 more than white borrowers, and 58% of all student loan debt is held by women. The student debt crisis is also fueling other crises in our public education system, including the educational staff shortage that threatens to leave us without enough teachers and other school personnel to teach and take care of our kids in the classroom. Young people aren't pursuing careers in education in part because they can't afford to pay off their debts, and educators with debt are leaving the profession altogether for the same reason. We have an opportunity here to provide immediate relief. Research shows the bolder the cancellation, the better the outcome. Canceling $50,000 of student loan debt will make 76% of current borrowers debt-free, transforming lives and delivering the biggest racial justice impact. And poll after poll has indicated that Americans want student debt relief. So it's now really a question of when this will happen. So Secretary, can you give us an update on when the president might announce, do you feel like this is going to happen, and when might the president announce an effort to relieve, the people up, as you know, into their 60s and 70s even of this burden?
Thank you, Congressman, for the work you're doing around supporting our students. And I enjoyed the visit with you to see it on the ground. With regard to the broad-based student loan forgiveness, the conversations are ongoing with the White House and Department of Education. And, we heard the president speak several weeks ago, and while I have nothing to share on that, you do know the conversations are going. I will tell you that we're not waiting for that to act for our borrowers who've been defrauded. We're proud of the work in 1 year to relieve over $19 billion now in loans for over 770,000 borrowers. And this includes folks who are total and permanently disabled. There's $8.6 billion in relief there. And many of them are veterans.
Yes.
The public service loan forgiveness, you brought it up. Like in 1 year, we're fixing that program. It went from 98% denial rate. Now we have 127,000 people who have benefited from it. Teachers. So you don't have to wait for the announcement. There are teachers who are eligible for loan forgiveness today. Studentaid.gov, check it out. Police officers, firemen, professors who are working in public service have eligibility now. So we're going to continue to do that. We're going to address the loans, outstanding loans for schools that have closed, or schools that took advantage of students and sold them something and never delivered. So we're proud of that record. We're going to continue doing that. And I appreciate your advocacy for that.
Yeah, well, thanks. Your work there has just been so fantastic. Turning to the budget for FY 2023, I don't have a lot of time left, but I'd love for you to talk about steps you're taking to, of course, bring down the cost of higher ed, because we can't just fix the problem from the past. We have to fix it going forward. You've been such a staunch champion of my America's College Promise Act. I'd love to hear you shout out again that you and the president and the first lady are still, we're going to get that done at some point, but speak about the budget and how you're going to lower the cost of higher ed.
So we want to stop the bleeding. We don't want to be in the same position 5 years from now. We've increased the FSA enforcement, the college scorecard. We've been meeting with institutions of higher ed, and we're going to push for a return on investment. That's what the American people need.
Outstanding. Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Thank you.